I bid you all good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, broadcasting from beautiful, sunny Merritt, British Columbia. It's going to be a beautiful day here today. It's a beautiful week ahead. Our cold snap just lifted, and it's nice out. Anyways, guys, more bad news to hit the fan. And I've been discussing this, guys. If you want to go back to the channel and watch trends in the housing market, and you want to go back to that episode from 2.5 years ago, where my house is an ATM. Well, I brought it up a million times on the show, where my house was all trends in the housing market, where my house is an ATM, and a lot of Canadians, especially homeowners, have been banking on the fact that they're being wealthy on paper, so they could hedge against borrowing with the supposed wealth they could get from their homes. And that's a huge issue when the price of housing starts to come down, and they're gonna have to raise interest rates somehow, somewhere, some way along the line, because either that or our currency becomes more and more inflated. And it could be conspiracy theorists or people in general, even top economists, inflate the currency to no man's land and then pay back the debt with worthless currency. So there's a lot of things on the table here. And then now with talks of them going to negative interest rates, we talked about this many times on the channel too. And it's happening, guys. If they go to negative interest rates, they're going to get rid of cash and do only like digital, like your debit Visa. Like, I'm not saying digital. You still get paid in deposits and stuff, but there's going to be no cash, which will eliminate and destroy the underground markets in the Commonwealth. So here it is, guys. 50% of Canadians face insolvency amid debt hopelessness, says survey. 50%, guys. That's like 15 million people, 17 million people already in a situation, right? Half of Canadians on the verge of insolvency, according to the survey on household debt levels in this country. The latest MPN Consumer Debt Index published Monday shows 50% of respondents says they're within $200. We covered the $200 rule here, right? If you go back to the channel, we covered the $200 rule, and I've been warning about this for a long time. Go to the channel, go to the magnifying glass, type in 200. Should come up. Should be the first one to come up right here. 11 months ago, 46% of Canadians are $200 less away from a financial insolvency. Thank God I actually brought this up, because it was at 46%, and now they're claiming it is 50%. It's going up. $200 not being able to cover their monthly bills, and nearly an equal proportion of participants in the survey, 49%, said they aren't confident in their ability to cover expenses without going deeper into debt. So they're going to need to borrow more to carry more. So remember when I brought up this thing that you have your little kayak or your little canoe, your one-man canoe, and you're just out in the lake and you're having a great time. Then they're going to say, well, you're doing so good in this canoe. You're doing so well. You know how to navigate this thing so well. We're going to give you a bigger canoe, but I don't need a bigger canoe. It's going to cost me more strength. Just take a bigger canoe. What are you, out of your mind? So they give you a bigger canoe. So you're paddling a two-man canoe, and you're now ferrying a guest. You're taking a guest and saying, okay, I'm going to take you across the lake. And then you're doing well. You're starting to pay down that canoe. And then they say, we're going to give you even a bigger canoe. And this one's going to have pads on the side and this and that. But I'm alone paddling. It's going to be really hard. You take on that canoe that has 3 passengers. But the problem is you're falling apart. You can't make the payments. You're taking on more than you could handle. And that's just a good story. I brought this canoe story up a few times. A good story to bring up to kind of show how people are taking on more and they can't paddle their way out of this. Our findings may point to the shift among Canadians from debt apathy. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good way to put it. Debt apathy to debt hopelessness. Feeling of hopelessness can make people feel like giving up on ever paying down their debt, or worse, ignoring the debt as it piles up higher, said MNP President Grant Bazian in a release. The survey underscores the extent to which households' balance sheets have become stretched in Canada, but it's only by no means that's only indicator that The Bank of Canada prepares to release its next interest rate decision on Wednesday. Wednesday's trends in the housing market live. Tune in, call in if you want to tell us your housing woes, what's happening in the housing markets. In your opinion, there's no such thing as a wrong caller or a wrong point of view. Everyone's put themselves in a position, or not everyone, even if you're couch surfing or you're renting, you're in a position, and you could tell us that. 1 week ago, the central bank survey of consumer expectations revealed a widening gap in spreading growth expectations versus anticipated income growth, suggesting consumers will either have to borrow more or cut their spending plans. And the most recent data from Statistics Canada similarly exposed mounting vulnerabilities with the seasonal adjusted credit market debt to disposable income. So, okay, let's see what they say here before I say anything. The ratio rising to 171.84 in the third quarter means Canadians on average owed $1.72 for every dollar of disposable income. So it's not just Canada, it's also Australia's on the hook. They owe $2.02 for every $1 that is made, right? So for every $1, of disposable income that's made in Australia, they owe $2. So that's very dangerous. $2.02 now. It used to be at $1.78 2 years ago when we were covering the debt load in Australia. New Zealand is the same thing. I think New Zealand is still sitting around $1.78 for every disposable income, and I think for every dollar of disposable income, and I think UK, England, more in England, but weird enough, Ireland isn't going more into debt. They're becoming more and more impoverished, where they're not taking on more debt. I've noticed in Ireland. I don't know if the bank's going to open its taps like it did in the other Commonwealth countries, but I'm noticing Ireland is a really interesting country where they started seeing this phenomena of bidding wars 2 years ago, and now Dublin is completely changing, and people are abandoning the city of Dublin and moving to Belfast. You can look it up. People abandoning or mass exodus from look it up on your own, guys, from Dublin, because this transformation of bidding wars they never seen before and being outbid on their own properties has, for a short span of 2.5 years, it's completely crippled and completely resurfaced the look of the country in a matter of 2.5 years. So let's move on. Huffington Post. Personal finance poll finds 1 1/3 of Canadians can't cover their bills. Again, this is from a few weeks back. No, January. This is today's date. Posted an hour ago. Montreal. It's from Montreal. Posted from Montreal. 3 in 10 Canadian households say they can't cover their monthly expenses, and fully half are on the verge of insolvency, a new survey has found. A report from accounting from the MNP lots comes amid warnings from the bankruptcy professionals that Canada will see a continued increase in personal bankruptcies and consumer proposals, thanks to rising interest rates over the past several years and now hitting consumers. While 29% of the survey representatives is currently, so 46% were going back into the same thing. Let's see if we can find something else here. Here we go. The country's strong economy. Fangulo. The country's strong economy and relatively strong inflation means that despite the rates being low in historical standards, Canadians are facing some of the highest borrowing costs in the developed world today. Now they're blame. I think they're throwing this out there so they could actually say that the borrowing costs are too high, they got to lower. No, they lowered the rates purposely so people could borrow more Ponzi money. So you see what's happening here. Woo! Anyways, more Canadians are filing for insolvencies than we've seen since the financial crisis. What's going on? So I'm not going to pay $14 to read this. Need another reason to feel glum as you open your credit card bills after the rush of the holiday spending. Here you go. If interest rates rise, so do personal insolvencies. Now, Canada is very, very, very interesting on how Canada is going to work this out. They're going to have to deflate the currency big time to pay back their debt, or they're going to have to... But the thing is, wages won't go up with it. That's the problem. Woo! So it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Guys, go to the channel. Look, Go to the channel. Look at this. 200-year income. You need 200 a year income to buy a home in the GTA. This is from 2 years ago I posted this video. Guys, join the channel. Go and search. Look at this. Foreign buyers to blame for plummeting home prices. To blame for plummeting home prices. That's an interesting one. All of those buyers have a kind of hit the sidelines. Oh, they're hitting the sidelines. Okay, so this is when they kind of jumped out of the market for a while with foreign. Now that things are getting tense in Hong Kong, it's going to be really interesting to see where things go. Canadians piling on more debt. That was from a few months back. Trends in the housing market from 2 years ago. Oh, man. Oh, don't forget to check out the merit harassment series. Opening a business similar to another in town and being basically crucified for it. Guys, don't forget to get on Teespring and buy a t-shirt if you're bored or something cool. If you're going to buy something from a YouTuber, a mug. And guys, if you want to message me or need to message me, I don't have my Skype on, guys. So people message me on Skype and I don't get back to them until I open it for Trends in the Housing Market or Mike in the Night, and then people get mad at me. Well, don't, because I don't. If you got to message me, here, go on my Facebook fan page. There's a couple of them. This is the real one. It has 117,000 followers. 117,000 followers following it. So if you guys want to message me, go to the fan page. Look, I got more messages now and I got 99 plus notifications. So just message me on there. I get to it. I get notifications on my phone. And that's that, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Canadian insolvency's up. It's going to get a lot worse. How are they going to get themselves out of this predicament? Well, with the pent-up stock markets and pent-up or a pent-down price of gold and silver and pent-down price of cryptocurrencies, I'm going to be... you leave them with the power. They got the power. They got our confidence in making sure we vote these people in, and not one Canadian politician, I think, except Maxime Bernier, of all the Canadian politicians that were on that panel during the when we covered the debates, not one of them brought up homeless crisis across Canada, rampant opioid crisis, fentanyl crisis, $200 billion laundered in real estate via Canadian real estate, the destruction of middle class, the disappearance of middle class wealth. They're not bringing any of this up. They never brought it up. I was so shocked. But it's like, who are we putting into power? Why are they not taking this thing serious? Why aren't they taking us serious? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and thanks for joining the channel.